At Shabbos, do you ever feel constricted, hemmed in, unable to be expansive, too materialistic, unable to feel a spirituality? Heck, feel like you're in purgatory, in a literal hell? There's a tool to get out of it. This Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, is the Hasidic holiday called Yutes Kislev, the 19th of Kislev, when the first Chabad Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, was released from jail in Tsarist Russia. And he then said that this should be a day that we celebrate, that we come together in celebration, because it is a day that represented the birth, the beginning, the Rosh Hashanah of Hasidic teachings. Now, the storyline you can find online, it's technicalities of what happened that day. But I want to say what the Alter Rebbe says, that if you come and participate in a farbrengen, in a gathering, that to celebrate this day, he says, will schlep you out from constriction to broadness, from the material to the spiritual, and even schlep you out of Gehenna, purgatory, hell. Wow, that's an opportunity we cannot miss. We must take advantage of it. This is such a holy spiritual day, and a celebration then can really help us in a big way. But what does that mean? How does this work? Before printing his most important work, the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe sent it to a number of his colleagues to review. One of them was the famed Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berditchev. And when he read through the Tanya, he says, it's amazing how the author took such a large God and condensed him into such a small book. Now, what does he mean? What's if the book was big, then you could put God into a book? Any book, no matter how big it is, cannot fit God. What does it mean? So one of the ways of seeing what Berditchev is saying is that what Alter Rebbe did is he brought godliness to the small areas of our life. It used to be that God is in the shul, God is in the mitzvah, God is in the holy places. The Alter Rebbe showed that you could be in constriction, you could be in the most constricted places, the smallest places, and godliness is there. You can experience it and feel it, and therefore feel in the greatest state of broadness. That's what this special day is all about. That we're able to look at every aspect of our life, every aspect of the world that we are in contact with, and not see it as something that constricts us, but actually as something that will allow us to soar, to move from the material to the spiritual, to not be constricted by a self-imposed or other person-imposed purgatory, but to rather feel the freedom of the holy, divine soul that every one of us has. This soul that allows us to soar. This is what the Alter Rebbe imbued within each and every one of us. And the way to unlock it is by celebrating in this holiday of Yutes Kislev. And if you don't fully get it, well, let me relate the following story that brings out how a small thing can really open a broad door. There's a woman in Crown Heights. Her name is Bronya Schaefer. She was a teacher. She used to go around lecturing and teaching. And she was wondering if her lectures make a difference. Anyway, one day she's called in by the secretary of the Rebbe, Rabbi Binyamin Klein, one of the secretaries to the office. He says, I want to show you a letter that we received in the Rebbe secretariat. They opened the letter, came with the mezuzah. And the fellow writes, says, I am not part of your community. I'm not even Jewish. I'm a Catholic. However, I was married to a Jewish woman. And we felt that we weren't fulfilled in our life. So we decided, okay, we'll go to synagogue. We went to a Reform synagogue and didn't talk to us. So I told my wife, let's go to the church. So we set a time that next Sunday we're going to the church. Before that Sunday, my wife sees a advertisement for a talk on relationships and marriage by Mrs. Bronya Schaefer. And so she goes to the lecture, she listens to the whole lecture, and at the end of the lecture, she goes to Mrs. Schaefer and says to her, this coming Sunday, I'm going to the church to convert. To which Mrs. Schaefer turns around, opens her pocketbook, her bag, and she takes out a few Shabbos candles. And she says, this Friday evening at a particular time, please light these. And so my wife took it home and she did that. Something strange happened. After lighting the candles, a light came into her life. And she didn't go to the church any longer. We went ahead and bought this mezuzah. And I put it up on our doors. She put it up on the door. And now she's passed away. And when I wanted to bury her in the Catholic cemetery, I was sitting at home and I saw the candlesticks. I felt, no, she didn't belong. And now I'm sending you back the mezuzah we bought, for you will know how to utilize it in a positive way. You see, Mrs. Schaefer didn't say, oh no, how could you do it? No, don't do this, no way. But Mrs. Schaefer gave her a mitzvah to do, and that mitzvah shone a light into her life and changed the trajectory of her life completely. And this indeed is the way it works. We don't always get it. But if you go Monday night to a Farbrengen, and we're having one here, and we'll want everyone to be, who is part of our community or part of the North Shore community, to come and to participate this Monday evening in the Farbrengen with Mr. Josh Goldhirsch, who is a businessman from Melbourne. But even in his business, with his business, he has been able to incorporate Chassidus in his life and to be an inspiration to many others in the teachings of Chassidus of the Alter Rebbe. So participate in this Farbrengen, because if that can achieve for you, that it takes you out of constriction, and it takes you out of materialism, and it takes you out of purgatory, hey, what could be worth more than that? Shabbos.